See someone that you might recognize, you click on them, and then you see that they're friends with someone else, and you share all these common interests.
On college campuses, it's called the Facebook trance. To everyone else, it's spending too much time in front of your computer, glued to a website called thefacebook.com.
It is what they call a social networking site where we can keep in touch with friends. It's currently attracting 100,000 new users every day. It may be popular, but how careful should we be about putting details of our lives online?
What's on that fake Facebook account is enough to make any parent angry. There are posts about sex, drugs. There's also a troubling photo.
From the Wall Street Journal suggests that teenagers and young adults are becoming more anxious and depressed, solitary, because of the increased use of social media.
They say weeks of constant bullying cost him his life. The 14-year-old teenager committed suicide after the release of an embarrassing video.
It's claiming to be the 14-year-old
there's an increasing link between social
And in the impact segment tonight, authorities in Florida have charged 8 teenagers with beating up a 16-year-old girl and kidnapping her as well. Is it happening late? Police say 16-year-old Victoria Lindsay was abducted by 6 teenage girls who took her to a home and then savagely beat her.
Social media, a form of communication that connects everyone to the world. It is also tearing us apart from the inside. An addiction that's creating a barrier between the world and the internet. For each post that promotes false happiness, it is adding a brick to the wall of isolation. This is the battle between discipline versus addiction, freedom versus isolation, the human versus the software. Social media became a platform of communication and evolved into an app of addiction. An average person logs into their Facebook account at least twice a day. Companies made their products to be addictive, like casino buildings with their slot machines. They want their users to be addicted to their platform because it would make the company money. Like slot machines, their purpose is to make profit. Today, social media apps are no different.
The way the technologist Darren Lanier puts it is that these companies offer you shiny treats in exchange for minutes of your attention and bytes of your personal data, which can then be packaged up and sold. We now know that many of the major social media companies hire individuals called attention engineers who borrow principles from Las Vegas casino gambling, among other places, to try to make these products as addictive as possible.
Some users try to create a perfect world on the internet to make their image look flawless and assuming that they achieve success. Even if it's fake, it is promoting short-term happiness, thus creating anxiety and self-hatred, which demotes mental health for the user. Social media anxiety has physical and mental effects. The more you sit in front of a computer or with your phone using social media, the more isolated you are. Like drugs, it is fun for the first few times, but then it wears off and leaves its mark.
Many studies show that our current social media consumption can lead us to depression, addiction, self-doubt, and unhappiness. That social media algorithms create echo chambers and reduce our exposure to new ideas. So how can teenagers learn to know who they are, develop self-love, and feel free of their own choices if they're constantly conditioned by these addictive media?
The Center for Collegiate Mental Health found that the top 3 diagnoses on university campuses are anxiety, depression, and stress. And numerous studies from the US, Canada, the UK, you name it, have linked this high social media use with these high levels of anxiety and depression.
If you talk to mental health experts on college campuses, they'll tell you, along with the rise of ubiquitous smartphone use and social media use among the students on the campus came an explosion of anxiety-related disorders on those campuses.
People use social media differently. For those who use it as a type of communication, then they are fulfilling the purpose of the meeting, socializing in social media. But some use the platform to ruin someone else's life and image. The new form of torment on the internet is called cyberbullying, the use of electronic communication to bully a person. One of the dark memories on social media happened back in 2008. 8 teenagers abducted a 16-year-old girl and beat her in front of a camcorder, then posted the video on MySpace. Police arrested the suspects, and the victim's parents told the local news station that MySpace and YouTube are the Antichrist for children. And what happened back in 2008, things haven't changed.
As a juvenile charge, not let it get filed as an adult. And basically the state attorney looks to see, was this a mature crime? I mean, clearly we have kids that are looking at a MySpace account that feel humiliated, and they want to do the same thing. They're taping this so they can play it on MySpace because they want to humiliate her.
That girl who was beat up is never going to be the same in her whole life. This will always stay with her. And how it affects her she's 16. So now that you've changed the girl's life forever, the people who did that must pay a price, and you got to send a message to other kids who might want to do the same thing.
Getting rid of this addiction isn't going to solve itself or cure it the next morning. The only way that these problems would get fixed is to hold social media companies accountable and acknowledge the problem. The first step on getting rid of an addiction is to change. Adapting out of the routine is tough, and finding a new rhythm would be difficult, but promoting a better life is worth the struggle. Slowly getting away from logging into social media and being productive are the first steps of recovery. The more active a person is, the less time has been spent on the phone. If people are going to be successful, then they gotta be willing to change. Until companies acknowledge the fact that their products are destroying users' mental health, then adapting away from social media will be the best for everyone.